there guys, gals, non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I review books and bookish things. I'm trying to upload on alternating Thursdays and with additional videos thrown in depending on how my health is doing. I'll go ahead and link my last video up above here so that you can see if you're interested in finding out about my health journey. I'll probably make more posts on it because it does impact my life quite a bit, but for now, let's get into a bookish Q&A. Alrighty, so this bookish Q&A comes to us from Lul's Book Guide. I'll go ahead and link her down below. And it's just a list of 25 questions that I thought would be fun to go over. I'm sorry if you can hear my air conditioner. It's Texas, it's hot, it's incredibly humid and very stuffy, and I need my air. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. I'm sure it sounds awful. I'll do what I can to try and mitigate that, but I'm not a great sound engineer by any means. So, alrighty, question number 1. What are you currently reading? So, I'm currently reading 2 books, which is not a lot for me. I'm usually reading more than that. But I am reading All American Girl, which I got from my local library off the Libby app, as well as Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. So, All American Girl is a YA written by Meg Cabot, the same author who did Princess Diaries. It follows the same formula as the first book. Our heroine is just your typical all-American girl, and she saves the president from being assassinated when she's skipping art class, and comedy ensues. So it's fun, it's simple. I started reading it because I forgot my other book while I was in the waiting for my doctor. I had a very long wait for my doctor most recently, and so I got about halfway through the book just waiting for my doctor to call me back. And then the other one is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, the same one who wrote The Love Hypothesis and Love Theoretically, both of which I very much enjoy. This one is love and romance in the world of Grandmaster Chess. So they're just fun little romps to read. Question number 2. What is the last book you read? So the last book that I finished was Gentleman Jack, the true story of Anne Lister. And that one, it's a biography, and the main source that it cites is Anne Lister's personal diary. She was a devout diarist and wrote extensively about everything she did in the day, from the minute she woke up until the minute her head hit the pillow again. And it's fascinating. It corrected some misconceptions that I had previously, as well as answering some questions about Victorian woman who was an out lesbian and even had a ring exchanging ceremony in the church with her partner. And it was just fascinating to read. Very interesting. She wasn't a good person, and she wasn't a great person, but she was a historically significant person. So there's that. Number 3, all-time favorite book or series. So I'll do both. My all-time favorite book is probably Mansfield Park. It is the first book I reviewed on my channel, and my favorite series has got to be The Lord of the Rings. Number 4, an author I always recommend. Ooh, that's hard because it depends on who I'm recommending them to. Like, say I'm recommending someone who I know doesn't like horror. I'm not going to recommend Stephen King to someone who I know doesn't like horror. I might recommend specific books by Stephen King, but I won't recommend Stephen King on the whole, you know? So if I know they like horror or sci-fi or suspense, Stephen King. If I think they'd be into the classics, definitely Jane Austen. What the person I'm talking would be into is which author I would recommend. I guess it depends, which I realize is kind of a cop-out answer, but that's the only answer I can give. A book series I DNF'd. DNF stands for did not finish. So a book or series I did not finish. what was the last book I did not finish? Well, the last book I didn't finish was one of the great courses. I don't know if it counts as a book, but I was listening to it through Audible. It was on creating good fiction, and the author, the lecturer, was just so smug and arrogant and name-droppy, and I just could not stand him at all whatsoever. So that was the last one I DNF'd. As far as a series, I did not finish. Outlander. I read the first book and a half, and then I just didn't care anymore. Like, it's like, okay, she's unstuck in time and she's traveling back through the magic stones and blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, like, the show, I watched more of the show, but about the same point in the show is where I stopped watching, which is in the second season. I just didn't care. Fight me if you want to in the comments for that one. I know it's not a popular opinion. The Outlander series is very popular, but I just couldn't stand the series. It felt like Diana Gabaldon did a lot of research and didn't want any of that research to go to waste, which it kind of has to at some point. Like, some not everything needs to be in the book, and it felt like she had to put everything in the book. So number 6 is a fictional place I'd like to visit. Lothlorien from Lord of the Rings. Most definitely. Ooh, number 7 is an OTP I love. OTP stands for One True Pairing, which is your ultimate ship or relationship that you have in a book. Who is my OTP? I would probably say... ooh, that's such a hard one. Because I want to say... Like, the obvious answer for someone who likes Lord of the Rings is Aragorn and Arwen. But I think... I'm gonna have to go with Éowyn and Faramir. Because theirs is such... Like, they're both the passed-over other child that one, her dad actually loves her. His dad didn't love him. But, like, they're both kind of passed over for the misfortune of their birth, and there's a mutual respect that grows there. So I would have to say Éowyn and Faramir is my one true pairing for that. Other than that, it would probably be Edmund and Fanny Price from Mansfield Park is my other one. Those are my main two OTPs that I ship, and they're both canon, so I'm correct. My fictional boyfriend or girlfriend. Ooh, fictional boyfriend or girlfriend. Can I say Tank Girl? Like, is that allowed to do a comic book character? Because Tank Girl is absolutely amazing. I prefer Hewlett and Martin to Dayglow and Martin, but Dayglow and Martin is still a good art. Dayglow still has a good art style. It's just not Hewlett's. But yeah, I would have to say Tank Girl is my fictional girlfriend. Fictional boyfriend, that's hard, because a lot of, like, I want to say Edmund, but Edmund would not be right for me. Probably Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing would be my fictional boyfriend, because he can keep up with my verbal sparring and keep up with my sassiness, I think. So yeah, either Benedict or Tank Girl would be my fictional significant other. Number 9 is the favorite book cover owned. That would be this one weird Lord of the Rings book I have. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So it's this Lord of the Rings. It was $1 at my local used bookstore. And it is, let me see if I can find the date on this. It's the 1965 edition of Return of the King. And it's just so psychedelic. I just love it. It's just so weird looking. Like, this is my favorite book cover. Last disappointing read. That would have to be Tuck Everlasting. Like, it's so hyped as one of those books that you should read, one of those books that you have to read. And I just didn't like it. It felt like way too much tell and not enough show. Like, there's a jailbreak in the book. And and it's gone. It's gone. That's it. No more. Like, all these places where the author could have built tension and could have built intrigue and suspense and just chose not to. It was just so disappointing. I finished it, and the ending was so unsatisfying. Oh my goodness, the ending was so unsatisfying. A trope I love to see has gotta be enemies to lovers, or enemies to friends to lovers, rivals to lovers, is my favorite trope. I love that one, where they're like, I can't stand you either. Like, I love it. Yes. Second to that has got to be the one bed trope. Like, I love the one bed trope. It's so utterly hilarious. Number 12 is a trope I can't stand, and that is the miscommunication. I hate it when, like, a simple text or a simple 5 extra seconds to explain yourself would unravel the whole plot. Like, I need the miscommunication to be greater than that, than just a simple, wait, hold on, he's my brother. And that undoes the whole plot. Like, I hate the very simple, like, blown out of proportion miscommunications. I cannot stand that trope. Number 13 is my favorite main character. Probably Tia Hypatia Cade from The Ship Who Searched. That was one of my favorite books as a kid. It's still one of my favorite books. She is a shell person. She's basically the brain that powers a spaceship. Like, that does all of the supercomputing math stuff for a spaceship. And she's named after Hypatia, who was the last librarian at the Library of Alexander and burned with her books. So, which is a very formidable person to be named after. A fictional character that reminds me of myself. Can I say Carrie? Like, I haven't gone nutso and, like, demolished a school with my psychic abilities, but definitely me in high school, when I read Carrie, I related to the character maybe a little too much. Like, I was bullied in high school, I was bullied in middle school, I was bullied in elementary school, and, like, it was just awful years. Basically, from kindergarten until I graduated, I was picked on and made fun of and bullied and all the rest of this. So, can I say Carrie? Is that wrong? Number 15 is a highly anticipated book series or release. The one that I'm highly anticipated in, that's a good question. One second, I'm gonna go to my Amazon wish list. Hold on. Okay. So probably there's 2 books that I'm very much anticipating. I have The Pairing, first edition, Casey McQuiston. That comes out August 6th. And then I have Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood. So those are the 2 that I'm most excited for. Not in Love, I'm not even sure what it's about. I just saw Allie Hazelwood was coming out with another book this year, and so I just add to cart. Same thing with Casey McQuiston. Casey McQuiston did Red, White, and Royal Blue, and also One Last Stop, and I absolutely loved those books. I thought they were fantastic. And so, yeah, those are the 2 books I'm most excited for. A novel on my to-be-read list would be Dragon Fruit. I'm not sure what it's about. It was a Book of the Month Club pick for April, and I picked it based on the cover because I thought the cover was just gorgeous. It's the one I'm reading when I finish the 2 that I'm currently working on. My comfort read or character. So, I have a couple. So my comfort read is going to be, which book do I read again? Have I read again and again and again? Probably Robinson Crusoe, the UK edition, not the US edition, because they are slightly different. It varies slightly from edition to edition because it's been in the public domain so long, and but the edition that starts with I Run Away to the Sea. Like that particular edition of Robinson Crusoe is my ultimate favorite. I'm not feeling well, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling not my best, I need to read something, and it's escapism in a book. It's the perfect escapism, it's daring, it's captivating. It's just good. It's one of those books that I can read again and again and again. My comfort character, however, would be Mary Lennox. I almost said Annie Lennox. That's a completely different person. Mary Lennox from A Secret Garden, the 1990s movie edition, is one of my comfort movies. That or Practical Magic, which is also a book that I very much enjoyed, but the book is very different from the movie. So my two favorite comfort characters would be Sally Owens or Mary Lennox, but I prefer them in movie form to their book forms, if that makes sense. My favorite side character. Ooh. Who is a side character that I just wanted more of? Sorry, I'm looking at my books. Probably Gawain, of Gawain and the Green Knight from the Arthurian Legends. His story is my favorite story of the Arthurian Legends. Just that he makes a singular mistake to save his own hide, and it betrays him, and he can never make up for it. And he spends the rest of his days trying to make up for that one mistake. Like, there's something about that his theoretically unwavering goodness wavered for just a second, and it's just his downfall in life. There's something about that I want more of Gawain. Like, Gawain is my favorite of the knights. He's the least objectionable, and Gawain would be my favorite side character. Number 19 is favorite book to movie adaptation. Alright, I did talk about this a little bit. It has nothing to do with the book, except for the character names, but Practical Magic. Practical Magic is one of my all-time favorite... Sorry, the cats just knocked something over, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not going out there to go check. Like, it sounded wet, whatever it was. I'm hoping they knocked their bowl over with their water and not something else. Nothing broke this time. They just broke one of my favorite butter spreaders. It had a little ceramic skull on the top, and it was my favorite one of the set of 3, and they just shattered it right before I started filming. I love my cats. I love my cats. I love my cats. Okay. Practical Magic is my absolutely favorite book to movie adaptation. They don't have much to do with each other, but I love both of them. Like, I can understand both of them and where they're coming from. Like, the book is more introspective and a study on familial relationships, where the movie is just fun. Like, it's still a study on interpersonal relationships and things, but it's much more of a romp, whereas the book is much more serious. Number 20, a villain I love to hate. Ooh, villain I love to hate. I can't say, I don't know if YouTube will let me say the word, but the B, Prince John, B meaning illegitimate child, from Much Ado About Nothing, is just, I love to hate him. I love to loathe him. He's just evil and slimy and wriggly and just bad guy. And he just makes the play. He makes it. Like, it is so good. I know Keanu Reeves has gotten a lot of hate for his portrayal of John, but Don John is the character. I had to double check because I wasn't sure. But the B Don John, the prince's B brother, basically, he's just slimy and just ugh. But I think he did a pretty good job. Like, again, fight me in the comments. Number 21 is my favorite reading spot. Oh, I could read anywhere. Like, honestly, anywhere. When I was a kid, there was this tree in our front yard that I liked to climb as high as the branches could physically hold me, and I used to read there. Or there was actually this drainage pipe and a culvert that was broken, and when it wasn't raining, I would climb in there because it was a giant concrete pipe. It was easily 6 feet across, a big concrete circle, and I'd climb in there, and the neighborhood bullies couldn't find me, and I would read there. Now, probably my favorite place to read is on my sofa, curled up in the corner of my sofa with my cats with me, because there's something wonderful about reading when you have your cats with you. Number 22 is my latest book haul. I have those. It was only 2 books because I'm trying to be good. And that was A Rake Like You and Lady August, both by Becky Michaels. And they just looked Regency and fun, and it seemed like the sort of thing I would want to read. So these are the 2. They're in a series, like they go together. I'm not sure which one comes which, but they are a series, so they go together. And that was my latest book haul. Longest book I ever read. Dune or Les Miserables. They're both pretty long. I'm not sure which is longer, but Dune or Les Miserables. Count of Monte Cristo I've only read in abridged forms. Once I get another Audible credit next month, I'll probably get Count of Monte Cristo, and that will be the longest book I've read. But yeah. Shortest book I've read. Probably Galatea, by Madeline Miller, the same one who wrote Circe. It's a short story, but it's sold by itself on Audible, on the Audible Plus catalog. Again, not sponsored by Audible. If you would like to, please do. I'm open to it, but I'm not sponsored. I'd pay for that with my own money. And it's Pygmalion as told from the statue's point of view. And in the original, the statue didn't even have a name, and so Madeline Miller gave her a name, and that was the shortest. It's really good. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Madeline Miller does a fantastic job. And number 25, my bookish goals for the year. So my big bookish goal is to read 80 books this year. That was my goal last year, and I fell short. I think I only read 60-something last year. And it's not even May yet as I'm filming this. It's a couple days before May starts. And I've already read, let me go to my Goodreads. I have read 39. I've finished 39 books this year. So I think that's pretty good. That means I'm on track, hopefully. I have DNF'd, I think 8. I think that's where I'm at. I think I did not finish 8. So, yeah, that was, Lul's Book Guides, Bookish Q&A. Let me know if you have any favorites, any of these that you want to answer. I would love to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!